One, two, testing. All right. It's good to be back here at Salvador Verde. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aiden Schwartz. I graduated Salvador Verde in 2019 and went on to continue my academic studies at American University, where next month I will be receiving degrees in business entertainment and audio production. I always knew I wanted to study some sort of music business or business entertainment. This came from my passion for following independent artists and watching them navigate through the music industry. Quite simple, really. As for audio production, I didn't know I wanted to study audio production until my sophomore year of college. This is strange, really, considering I've been studying audio production since I was 6 years old. 6? Yeah, 6 years old. Now, I wasn't a 6-year-old sitting behind a recording console in a music studio. My introduction into audio production looked a little different. It began in 2007. I was in the basement of my older brother's best friend's house, as his older brother played music with his band. I watched as a group of guys each played their individual instruments to create one uniform sound. I never thought about music like this. Sure, I had heard songs in my parents' CDs and on the radio, but I never really knew what went into making a song. This was a profound experience that changed my life. My next development in audio production was when I was 7. My dad bought a CD of the classic rock band Boston. I remember sitting in the back of the car listening to the individual elements of each song and fully being captivated. I quickly learned that listening to music was the only thing that could capture my short attention span. Well, music and SpongeBob, of course. Throughout my childhood, I went wherever there was music. I took breakdancing classes from 3rd grade to freshman year so I could interact with new songs each week. I was obsessed with music, whether I had to get it from my parents' CDs, my iPod Touch, or my iPod Shuffle, or me and my brother downloading mixtapes off the internet prior to streaming services. I was obsessed. One of my greatest developments in audio production happened in 2015. I'm going into high school and consistently listening to J. Cole's album, 2014, Forest Hills Drive. I mean, who wasn't at the time? Oh, I did that in Miss Thanky's class, by the way. Who wasn't listening to J. Cole at that time? I remember he dropped a promotional video from his childhood home explaining how he got into music. He said he begged his mom every day to get him an MPC, a beat machine, and made beats throughout high school. So naturally, I did the same. After months of begging my mom, she took me to Guitar Center to get an MPC as she was happy to help me deepen my connection with music. The salesman at Guitar Center told us that MPCs are outdated and we should instead get a digital MIDI controller version. In my mind, this is when I declared my major. My friends would go home from school every day and play video games, but I would go home every day and make beats. I would load jazz samples onto this MPC and make hip-hop beats. I called myself a producer. I wasn't really a producer, I was a beat maker. Matter of fact, I introduced myself as a producer to a stranger at a Brockhampton concert in 2018. His name is Matty, and he told me he's a singer. So naturally we started making music together. I did not know the first thing about recording vocals. I did not know anything about recording music, but I figured if I could learn how to make beats with no background in music, I could learn how to record music too. I started working with as many artists as possible. I'd beg Miss Hollis to let me borrow the school's Yeti microphone and would record anyone who would be willing to sing or rap on my beats. Question for the audience, who is the school's SoundCloud rapper? I know you're out there somewhere, there's always one, yeah, there you are. So, in high school, my junior year, I was producing for you. And although we only made joke songs and parodies, I learned a lot from this experience. I learned how to record vocals, I learned how to mix vocals, and I learned how to inspire an artist to give their best possible performance. I took these skills to American University, where next month I'll be receiving a degree in business entertainment and audio production, and every day I take classes. I've taken sound studio techniques classes where we record everything from jazz bands to metal bands. I get to capture the beauty of music every day, and I will continue to do that for the rest of my life, no matter what that looks like. I have always been in my major, and whether you know it or not, you too have always been in your major. The question for me is, why didn't I know I wanted to study audio production until I got to America, until my sophomore year? Was it because I was too fixated on what vibe I want my college to be, or where I want to spend the next 4 years of my life? Luckily, it all worked out, and what I took from this experience is a PSA I would tell my high school self. Not a public service announcement, but a prompt. PSA, passion, skills, apply. Ask yourselves, what are your passions? What are the skills that allow you to succeed in your passions, and where might you be able to apply this next? The pipeline from high school to college degree is not so cut and dry. But what I've learned from my experience and watching my friends is that there are 3 paths you can take. The unique path, the obvious path, the unique path, and the road less traveled. The obvious path stems directly from your passions, and it works out just fine. This looks like if you are passionate about physics, going on to study physics, or if you love Model UN, going on to study political science or international relations. I've witnessed friends develop a passion for community service in high school and went on to study public health, and they're very happy and will be very successful. I myself consider taking the obvious path. I consider studying communications from my love for and experience with giving TEDx talks in high school. But like I said, it's not always so cut and dry. The unique path focuses on specific skills and applies that and channels that into a specific area of studies. To discover your unique path, you must take yourself out of the confines of what the obvious path looks like and think a little bit more creatively. Let's take my good friend Nick, for example. Nick was the Saddle River Day student body president and the captain of the school basketball team and a community leader. Nick could have taken his experience as student body president and gone into political science, or take his experience as the high school basketball team and gone into something like sports journalism. Now, Nick discovered what he loved about these extracurriculars was community building and helping individuals grow. Nick continued down a path where these skills can thrive. And next month, Nick will be receiving a degree in psychology with a specialization in social work. The road less traveled is an option for someone to take a path that they've never directly experienced. To discover the road less traveled, you have to think a little differently. It's an option for someone to take a path they've never directly experienced. But I'm here to tell you, just because you have no experience in something does not mean you are not qualified or that it won't suit you. Even if you are an expert in your field of studies prior to college, you're still going to be taking the same prerequisite courses as everyone else. Everyone pretty much starts from square one. So this means mathematicians and gamers alike may have an equal opportunity studying something like computer science. Let's say your passion is theater, but you want your career to be a little different. Ask yourself what you love about theater, because you might find that same thrill of giving a captivating performance as you would giving a midterm presentation for a communications class. Many of you are going off to college soon. You'll have the opportunity to go down any path you like. I hope this starts with defining your PSA, so your passions define your path. Many of you are going off to college soon and will have the option to go down any path you like. I hope this starts with defining your PSA, so your passions define your path. Whether you know your next steps or have no clue where you want to go next, or if you know your end goal or have no clue what to do, your next steps are not your final step. They're just a continuation of your journey. Alleviate the pressure of trying to decide a major and realize you have been a part of your studies your whole life. And if my high school self was in the audience right now, I'd tell them, just keep making beats. You'll find your path. Thank you.